Coming to you from the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show with Mark, Sara, and Pam. We're covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Give us a listen at lydiamediallc.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
Today's show is brought to you by United Piping, serving residential and commercial customers with new installations and repairs. Call today and schedule your oil and gas boiler cleanings at 754-4556. UPI, the best plumbers around. Whoop, whoop. And also by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. All 5 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com. And remember, the party starts at Ruper's.
You didn't realize you were going to have so much help today, did you?
I love that. We really nailed the Ruper's one. Nailed it. We're going to have to work on the UPI one a little bit.
We'll get it by Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll be on top of our game by Wednesday.
Absolutely.
I think.
Yeah.
And then start all over next Monday.
That's right. Yes. Speaking of Monday, let's take a look at some headlines for Monday, January 13th.
All right. The Sun Journal reports that the store next door is now offering services in Auburn. The nonprofit began in Lewiston 3 years ago and provides homeless youth food, personal hygiene items, and other necessities. Chief Operating Officer Ron Potvin said the homeless student population in Auburn has gone from 60 to 240 in the last 10 years.
Governor Mills unveiled her 2-year, $11.6 billion budget proposal for fiscal year 2026-27. Mills said the proposal aims to maintain core commitments to health care, education, free school meals for all Maine students, and 5% municipal revenue sharing to stabilize property taxes and support municipal services.
Part of the budget proposal was raising Maine's tobacco tax by $1 per pack of cigarettes. Mills said the move could result in $80 million in tax revenue over the next 2 years while addressing public health concerns. She also proposed increasing the sales tax on recreational cannabis and taxing video streaming services.
Spring Street to Court Street in Auburn will be closed today while Public Works repairs a catch basin. The road will reopen as soon as the project is completed.
The Lewiston Police Department released its statistics from December. They include 3,248 calls for service, 532 traffic stops, and 129 motor vehicle accidents.
And the City of Auburn released its new resident guide. The publication informs about trash day, polling places, how to sign your kids up for summer camp, and a whole lot more. The guide can be found at auburnmaine.gov.
Well, that's super helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even residents who have lived here for a while might benefit from that.
Yeah.
Probably find out things they never knew.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yep.
Should we talk about the weather?
Here's Pam with the weather.
I mean, it's not so bad.
Okay.
Partly sunny today with a high of 34 and a low of 18. Cloudy tomorrow with a high of 31. And sunny but colder on Wednesday with highs in the low 20s. Completely January-like.
Yes.
Yeah, very seasonal.
No surprises.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Talk about sports.
Sports.
Former Patriots linebacker and 3-time Super Bowl champion Mike Vrabel was hired as the team's new head coach. The 49-year-old Pats Hall of Famer will be formally introduced this afternoon at Gillette Stadium.
If they can win more than one game a month, they'll have a better season than last season. The Celtics beat the New Orleans Pelicans 120-119. Boston will visit the Toronto Raptors on Wednesday.
And the Bruins will host the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow night.
The Maine Nordiques had themselves a weekend. They swept the Johnstown Tomahawks, winning 1-0 on Friday and 4-1 on Saturday. The Nords now trail the Rochester Junior Americans by 3 points for first place in the NAHL East Division, and the two teams, as luck would have it, will face off at the Colisee on Thursday and Friday.
The NA3 Nordiques swept the Long Beach Sharks out of the Colisee 4-0 on Friday and 3-2 on Saturday. The Nords will host the New Jersey Titans on Friday and Saturday.
Host who?
The stinking New Jersey Titans on Friday and
Pam's
Saturday.
on top of it today.
Pam's on it. Yep.
Maine basketball phenom Cooper Flagg set the Atlantic Coast Conference freshman single-game scoring record with 42 points against Notre Dame on Saturday.
Hot damn.
Holy macaroni.
You know, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that kid's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think
He's
so.
the real deal.
Yeah, I think so.
I love it.
He's all right.
Representing.
That's
I
right.
like it.
Central Maine Community College basketball split a doubleheader with Bryant and Stratton Albany. The women's team won 109-40 46.
Whoa.
Ouch. And the men's team lost 74-63.
A little bit closer.
They
on
could
that
have
one.
given some of their points
That's right.
to just have a little bit of their points.
We talk about that when we play Yahtzee. Like, if you'll give me your full house, I will trade you. Doesn't work that way, though.
No, it
Darn
never
it.
does.
Darn it.
Something about the officials that they're not allowing it and stuff.
Rules,
Yeah.
rules and things.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
High school schedule for today in girls basketball. Dirigo at Oak Hill at 6:30. Lewiston at EL. Battle for the Bridge right there at 6:30. Lisbon at Winthrop at 6:30. And Mount Abram at Monmouth also at 6:30.
Over in boys hockey, we have Lewiston at Wyndham Westbrook Bonnie Eagle at 5 p.m. And we have Freiburg Lake Region Oxford Hills at Scarborough at 8:30 p.m. That's a late puck drop. My
Late
goodness.
game.
is,
And
yeah.
to be out wherever they're playing in Freiburg, Lake Region, or in Oxford. Or no, they're playing
Yeah, they're
in
in
Scarborough.
Scarborough.
Yeah, they're
That's,
down
that's
in
a haul.
Scarborough.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in girls hockey, Gorham, Bonnie Eagle, Massabesic, Freiburg, Lake Region, Westbrook is taking on St. Dom's at 6:30 at Norway Savings Bank Arena in Auburn. That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it is time for the podcast segment that is Sweeping the Twin Cities. It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for January the 13th, shall we?
Yes.
Liam Hemsworth.
What?
Miley Cyrus's ex-husband.
Really?
Oh, did they actually get married?
Oh, maybe they didn't get married.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know.
They
Ooh.
were not a
They
match.
were a thing.
Oh, no.
They were not
Yeah.
a match.
They were a match until they weren't, right? Isn't that what she says in her song Flowers?
That's true. That's true.
Liam is 35 years old today. He's an Australian actor. And isn't he the brother of Thor?
One Chris Hemsworth.
Okay, so
Is it just the brothers, or they're?
There's like another brother.
Well, I mean, were their parents into Hollywood? Like,
are they like the
Where'd
Baldwins?
they come from?
Are they like the modern day Baldwins
Right.
where there's like 18 of them?
There's a bunch. Yeah. There's a bunch.
Yeah, so you know Liam from The Hunger Games.
Yes.
That's right.
And Independence Day Resurgence.
Oh, I didn't see that. He's not as famous as the other Helmsworth.
Right. The one that you had to wipe the drool off of the corner of your mouth. That one?
That one.
Whatever his name is.
Whatever. Chris. One of the Chris's.
There you go.
There's 3 very handsome Chris's in the Marvel universe. There's Chris Helmsworth, there's Chris Pratt, and Chris Evans.
Aha.
All the good Chris's.
All right. Rank them 1 through 3.
Hemsworth number 1.
Okay. So he's Thor,
Yeah. Evans number 2. Captain America.
Captain America.
And Pratt number 3.
Okay.
Peter Quill from Guardians.
Pam, you want to weigh in on this?
no, I don't watch the Marvel movies.
Orlando Bloom is 48 years old today. I remember him from the Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
right? As Will Turner.
Yeah. And the
That was-
Lord of the Rings series too.
Yeah. What else has he done? Anything?
3 Musketeers. He had the floofy hat. I blew my feather for the listeners.
And your hair cooperated
Yeah.
on that too. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a hat that gets the feather gets in his face, and he goes,
Happy birthday, Will Turner.
"Yes." Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, that too.
He's married to Katy Perry.
What?
Yeah, and they have little babies. Cute
Little babies.
cute little babies. I bet their babies are cute. I've never seen them, but I bet their babies are super
I
cute.
would think so.
Nicole Eggert is 53 years old today.
Oh yeah, she used to run
On Baywatch?
Baywatch?
Yes. Well, they all did, didn't they? In slow motion?
That's what that show is about, right? Running.
I think so.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And the Celebrity Fit Club. Have you watched that?
Oh, I haven't. That
either.
sounds horrible.
Is it your?
It sounds
what's
like
the show that you hate, The Biggest Loser.
Oh God.
But
Oh.
with celebrities.
No,
No, I don't know. I've never seen
oh.
it. I'm just saying you didn't
No.
like The Biggest Loser.
No, I
so.
do not like that show. That's a terrible show. If this is anything like that, I would feel the same. She was also on Charles in Charge, though,
Yes.
with what's that
With
guy's
the Chachi.
with Chachi.
Yeah, Scott Baio.
That's right, Chachi.
And she was in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show and Boy Meets World. And I recently saw a movie that she starred in called Amanda and the Alien. And it's
So
as,
nobody has seen it.
it's as bad as it sounds.
Sounds really
And
bad.
it was properly riff tracked, so it
Oh,
was actually
nice.
worth a look.
Cool.
Patrick Dempsey,
Oh,
59 years old today.
yep.
We know him as Patrick Dempsey, the Dempsey Challenge.
Yeah, that's how we know him. He was voted one of people's sexiest men. Well, he was voted the sexiest man alive in 2023.
Didn't everyone fall in love with him with Can't Buy Me Love in 87?
Loverboy
and
is
then
the one I
Loverboy in
remember.
89. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And then he just skyrocketed from there.
Yeah.
Rounding out FPBs
Headliners.
for January the 13th, a national treasure, one of the funniest comedic actresses of all time,
Absolutely.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus,
Best
is
dance moves ever.
Oh my God.
64 years old today.
Yeah, she's pretty great.
Yeah, 9 years on Seinfeld. Then she went on to star in The New Adventures of Old
I
Christine.
love that
Loved
show.
that show.
Yes, same here. And she also starred in Veep.
Yep.
And she was also on SNL from 82 to 85.
Yeah, she was great on that show.
11 Primetime Emmy Awards, 8 for acting and 3 for producing. And she's got 9 Screen Actors Guild Awards and a Golden Globe and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And
She's done pretty well.
She's done pretty well. Her podcast is called Wiser Than Me. She talks to all kinds of great people. Nancy Pelosi, Bonnie Raitt.
Oh, wow.
Like, she's like really, she talks to people who are wiser than her. And it's fun.
So I should not expect an invitation.
I'm not
oh,
planning
come
on going
on.
on.
She has also received numerous other honors, including the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor in 2018 and the National Medal of Arts in 2021.
That's awesome.
And those are your FPBs for January the 13th.
All right. Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the L.A. area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Don't miss the January issue of Uncle Andy's Digest, featuring Greater Lewiston Auburn's 30th annual Best Businesses for 2024, plus a Valentine's Day gift guide, events calendar, shout-outs, and plenty of one-liners and jokes guaranteed to put a smile on your face. And be sure to visit UncleAndys.com and enter to win the Sweethearts Contest. You and your sweetie will appear in the February issue and could win a Valentine's Day gift basket. Uncle Andy's Digest, your local guide to, well, just about anything.
She made it in the paper again.
Again.
Didn't she? Gee.
What is going on, Sarah?
I got to be on the front
You're
page.
the most famous person on this podcast.
She is.
When were you going to talk about my birthday?
When your birthday? Oh,
When am I going to make the list?
probably when it comes around.
I'm like,
Okay.
when it's your birthday?
When
do,
it's your
do you want to
birthday?
talk about it 7 months early?
No.
Okay.
I don't do. No. No, I got an email from Mark Laflamme from the Sun Journal again, and he was writing an article. He needed to put together some interviews from different comics in the area, and he reached out to me and asked me a few questions about getting into comedy here in Maine and how that, how I felt just the idea of it went and whether people were welcoming and all of that stuff. And then we talked about why comedy is so popular in the region. And it's a great little article. He's talked to Bob Marley. He talked to Adam Hatch, who's a great comedian out of the Bangor area. He talked with Nick Gordon, who is a partner with Leonard Kimball, who runs the Great Falls Comedy Club. Johnny Ader, who everybody knows and loves, was interviewed. Don Bach, who's a local comedy teacher and performer. And then I feel like there might have been somebody who was supposed to be interviewed, but maybe forgot to respond to the email.
Oh, that was me. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
I thought it was a joke.
My bad. My bad. But it was great.
no.
Yeah. A lot of great people featured in that article.
Yeah.
Made some great points about why comedy is thriving in this area. And yeah, it was good to see. And I love the fact that he covered like the entire state.
Yeah,
too. We have our little corner here in Lewiston,
That's
Auburn,
true.
which is fantastic, but
Yeah.
comedy is growing throughout the state.
Yeah.
Which can only help everyone else
Yeah.
because it's going to create more opportunities.
Yeah, someone he interviewed who's not a comic but is running a comedy club out of Portland, Empire Comedy Club. He interviewed him as well. I think he's local to the Lewiston, Auburn area, but he runs a comedy club, Empire Comedy Club in Portland. Lucas Salisbury. And they do a lot. They've got open mics down there. They've got a little thing they do on Sunday called Crowdsource, where they have like a bucket of ideas and you have to pull a bucket and immediately come up with like 2 or 5 minutes of comedy on the spot. And all the ideas come from the crowd.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that yet, but I think it would be a lot of fun
Yeah.
to try it out and see how it goes. See
A
how
little scaly.
Yeah, very scary. But if you've taken an improv class, it might be a little easier, I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
Because you got to really think on the fly. But it's a very interesting article. There does seem to be a lot of focus on the comedy scene in Maine right now, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Absolutely. Anything that promotes.
Yeah.
I mean, because all of those things are small business focused,
Right.
whether it's, Great Falls Comedy Club, which is a small business kind of within Craft Brew Underground, but also comedians going to other local small businesses.
Right.
That
Yeah.
are bringing in people for a show.
Yeah, a lot of our venues are little places like Norway Brewing Company out in Norway, or one of the things that I liked about the article was something that Don Bach had said, which was there's, this time of year in particular, there isn't much to do in the
Right.
winter. Like, this is a great way, especially with my point being the lack of sunshine. Like, it's dark, it's cold. We don't have a whole lot to look forward to for a little while. So being able to go out and just kind of forget that winter's out there and laugh and have a good time in a group of people is
Get those endorphins going.
Yeah. Laughter's the best medicine for that sort of thing.
I remember when I started in 2012, it was the goal of every new and established comedian to get into the Comedy Connection in Portland.
Yeah.
And it closed like 6 months later. And then there was no hub for comedy in Maine. And the comedians had to take it upon themselves to introduce comedy to new venues and bring the owners in and form partnerships. And just, I remember Sherry and I would go out to eat, and I'm looking around going, I could fit a microphone right there.
Right.
And
Nick does that still.
Yeah, I don't do it anymore. But back when I was booking and producing, it's like every venue I walked into, I'm like, how could we make it work in here?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, because there was no club.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. Just last month or 2 months ago, I don't know.
Time all blends together.
Definitely, it could have been 6 months
Could
ago.
have been
for all I know,
years.
we were walking by where Comedy Connection used to be, and I was like, wow, like I remember coming there or going there for shows, and it was a cool spot,
Yes.
Yeah.
and it was always packed.
Yep.
And I was like, man, that's too bad that it didn't survive, or I don't know what happened, but that it's not there anymore. But we've created our own little.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of places to go to see live stand-up comedy. The closing of Comedy Connection, that's that kind of like the catalyst for you, Mark, of why you started booking? Because I feel like the Fireside Inn
It was part of it, because I knew even if I performed at the Comedy Connection once on, like, they had a Thursday showcase, and I went, and I was brand new, and once I got on that stage, I'm like, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Like the height of the stage, everything was perfect for comedy. The lighting, the crowd, everything. I'm like, and that was like, I had that just image burned in my mind. I'm like, this is the model. This is what every club should have. But then I knew even if I did get in there that I wasn't going to get booked as much as I wanted to. So I had to create my own opportunities.
Yeah.
So I started booking the Fireside. And that was incredible.
Yeah, you said you had a lot of success with that.
Yeah, we started off just fundraising. We raised money for the Humane Society and Good Shepherd Food Bank and the Dempsey Center and all that. Like, every show was a fundraising show.
Awesome.
So it was easy to like promote and bring people in. And yeah, we sold out just about everyone. Ran it monthly except for the summer months, which is it's
Comedy,
tough to get
really?
people inside when it's 7:30. And the sun is shining, and it's beautiful.
I don't want to work in the summertime.
Right.
Like, I don't want to do shows. I don't want to be booked in the summertime. I could be out on a paddleboard somewhere. Like, coming in off the water, there's been times when I have gone to open mics still in my bathing suit. Like, just like come off the water, hop in the car, and go to an open mic that starts at 8.
I mean, you put something else on over
obviously
the
I'm
bathing
wearing clothes over my
Otherwise, it's standing room
Just wanted
only.
to clarify. People can only hear us, Sarah, so they might be.
No, I put clothes on over. I have gone in a wet bathing suit before, though. I have to tell you.
That must have been interesting.
Like, I gotta get out of here. I'm a little cold.
Pam, didn't you mention previously that you would like to attempt stand-up?
Oh, would
yeah,
you?
yeah. I've thought about doing a class, like an improv or something like that. I think improv would be helpful, obviously, just for public speaking or doing presentations for work that I do pretty consistently. I like the idea because there's so many times when someone says something to me and I just go, and then I walk away, and then I'm like, I totally had something to say in response to that. I just wasn't prepared, and just kind of avoided or whatever. And
You're
so,
very quick-witted. Like you are a very funny person.
thanks. I mean, you got to be.
You got to have a sense of humor. Well, what did they say? Comedy is trauma.
Tragedy plus
Time
Yeah.
equals comedy.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've had your share.
Yeah, I think I need a little more time.
Maybe a little more time. Some processing is fine.
Yeah.
But I think that that's a big piece of it for a lot of us comics is taking all of the things like our weird, quirky sense of humors come from the experiences that we've had in life. And some of that is trauma and some of that is not. Some of that is just like observational. But I think when you can take it and you can make that something funny, it helps other people who are experiencing that or have
Right.
experienced that to see the humor in it too and to relate to you and to kind of think, oh, I'm not alone in that.
Right.
I can
Yeah.
be okay with that happened and
Yeah.
that there are funny parts of it, like the absurdity of some of the things that I talk about. It's just like, I
I can't make this up.
I cannot even make this up.
It was a long, long time ago, but it was, I don't know where I heard it or read it or someone said something about the best fictional movie will never be as good as an experience someone has gone through in real life. Like just some experiences in real life are just so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, what? That did
Yeah.
not really
There's
happen.
no way that happened.
Like you couldn't make this up. You couldn't do it. And
Part of my opening spiel when I would host shows, I tell the audience, if you think a joke is funny, then laugh. If you think a joke is not funny, still laugh.
Yeah.
Because no one gets up here because things are going well in their lives.
do you know that when I host, I credit you, but I say the same thing?
You don't have to credit me because everybody says it now.
I still credit you, as my good friend Mark says. No one's doing this because they're in a good place. Like,
That's right.
not how that works.
That's right. We're all in it together.
Join us in our misery.
And let's laugh about it.
We'll laugh about it together.
Yeah.
I think you should do it. I think you should take that adult ed class.
well, I think Kevin's pretty funny as well.
I do too. Yeah.
He can do a little bit of some voices.
I was just going to
Yes.
say, when he does
Yeah.
his little voices, that cracks me up.
Yeah.
The most recent teacher at the adult ed, I want to say, was Matt Dundas, who we
Oh,
had
right.
on the show not that long ago.
Was it?
Yeah. I believe it was Matt Dundas and maybe Brendan Eyre a little bit, maybe popped in. But I can only imagine that was an incredible class to take. Because
Yeah.
Matt's such a great guy, and he's so truly funny. I think he'd probably be a really good teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my thought process on doing a class and ultimately maybe doing like an open mic of some sort where it's a very short
Yeah.
time frame that you have to be
Yeah.
up there. And I guess maybe tell me if this is a good or accurate thought process is if I ever wanted to do that, I would want to do it out of town, not do
Oh.
it too close to town.
So my experience, and Mark can weigh in too, is that when you do a class like that and then you do an open mic and then you have all of your friends and family come, there will never be a more friendly audience for you.
True.
So it's a really nice little ego boost for that first time.
Yeah.
If you wanted to keep going and you didn't want to be around people you knew every time, definitely go out of town. But
Yeah.
that feeling of being loved and appreciated and knowing that people are
Right.
going to laugh no matter what you say because they just love you so much and they're
Right.
so proud of you for doing
Yeah.
what you're doing. That's a really incredible feeling.
Yeah, and that's kind of like my thought process is like maybe that's not a great idea, but initially I'm just like get me as far away as possible.
I would
For people you know.
I would agree with Sarah that if it's your first time, you definitely don't want to be out of town because chances are you're not going to be very good.
Yeah. That's
I
wasn't going to say that.
Well, that's
No, it's reality.
I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not easy,
Yeah.
and it takes time to get your stage legs.
Right.
So
Yeah.
having friends and family in the audience and all of them pulling for you is going to be a great experience. And then you're going to spend the next few years chasing that feeling.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
And
so true.
Because when you're up there and everything's going great and everybody's cheering for you, you're like, oh, this must be what
This
it's
is what
like.
it's
This
like.
is so
The
easy.
feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is nothing.
It's not easy. There is never going to be a time where I think that is easy because
Yeah.
I mean, even with B&I and I have to do my 45-second presentation,
Yeah.
I don't have to be funny, but it's still nerve-wracking to stand up and have something to say for 45 seconds in front of 40 plus people.
Yeah.
You know, but it's great because obviously my nervousness is way mellow now compared to when I first started doing it. I was like, oh my God. So
Is there a reason when we started talking about you taking class or getting on stage where you chose improv before
stand-up
stand-up?
comedy?
would I, or is there a reason?
Yeah, is there a reason why improv came to your mind before stand-up?
I think just taking a class on improv for me professionally would be helpful. I guess that's where the improv came in, is like maybe it's a step into doing something comedic, but essentially at first I'd be like, to be able to think on your feet quickly, whether it's humorous or not, is a skill that I would like to tune in.
There.
You're right.
Yeah. Mark and I took an improv class together.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
He did not enjoy it. I loved it. I thought it was so fun, and I'm good. I never need to do improv. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I had so much fun in the class.
Years ago, I bought one of my great friends a birthday present. It was comedy show tickets in Boston, and it was an improv. And it was great. You could just show up as a guest, buy your ticket, but you could also bring, a party with you, bachelorette, bachelor, birthday, whatever the party would be. And you can email the company and tell them little quirks and things about the person that you're going for, like the bride, the groom, the birthday person.
Fun.
And they'll incorporate those things into their jokes.
Wow.
And I never had so much fun in my life. That
It's so
show
cool.
was so cool. And I had so much fun.
Personalized.
Yeah. And we didn't know anybody. Like, we just went as, audience members. But it was such a unique idea. And they were really good. So I'm sure if they flopped, I would be like, meh. But, and then, of course, in my early 20s, even before, I don't know how long ago, but Trevor was born. So Whose Line Is It Anyway? It was a show that I watched all the time. And, them
fun.
making up songs and doing things. And it was a show. Maybe some of it was kind of prepped. I don't know. But so impressive.
Yeah.
So impressive.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
just
next
something you're like, I
level.
wish I could do that, But, and it's funny because Kevin does it all the time. Hiking. We'll go hiking and I'll say something and then he'll make a song up from like a couple of the words that I just said that are incorporated in the real song, and then he'll make up a whole new song.
I love it. Yeah.
And he's like, he always talks about, my greatest hits album.
You could be a duo.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I don't sing. Although I think it would be fun to go up with him and kind of banter back and forth.
It'd
yes
be
and
hilarious
situation.
if the two of you went up and he sang and you did nothing.
If you just stood there.
And just laugh at him,
You'd be like
or not laugh at all.
the Penn and Teller of
You
comedy.
could just be deadpan, straight face. One of my favorite shows that I ever did was with an all-female improv group called You Should Smile More, which, first of all, I love that name. It's great. But what they had us do, they invited me as a comic. So I stood up and I did 15 minutes of stand-up comedy. And while I was doing comedy, they were in the backstage with this huge piece of paper. And every joke that I would write, they would take a note. They would write down yoga or whatever the joke was. They just write down like a little note about it. And then they would go out after my set and they would perform improv based on the cues from my comedy. So I got to sit in the audience and watch them do my set, but improv, like, and put it into a scene, and they made it so funny. And that was one of my most favorite shows that I've ever done. And I took a photo of their scribblings because I should have asked if I could have it after the show because it was so incredibly cool. They are so talented. Those ladies are super talented.
That sounds fun.
It was really fun. If you've ever seen Molly McGill perform, you know that she just brings it every single time, and she's part of that troupe. She is hilariously funny. She's so good.
Yeah, people might know Molly from hosting Maine's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, improv and me, we didn't mix.
You didn't go together.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something different.
Wasn't your
but
thing.
I much prefer the autonomy of stand-up.
stand-up.
If it goes bad, I want to know it's my fault. And if it goes well, I also want to know it's because of me.
So
Right? But when improv, I've seen improv on a number of occasions. When improv is bad, it's the worst.
It can be so painful.
It's painful,
If
yeah.
the crowd is not responding, you
Yeah.
have 4 or 5 people up there just going through and trying their best.
Yeah, digging.
Everyone.
To get something, anything. Yeah.
That's rough, yeah.
And as comedians, when you see a stand-up bomb, it's hilarious. Because it's not for the comic. If you have some experience, you can make it funny.
Yeah.
Like you can acknowledge
Right.
that it's not going well.
Right.
You can shift gears. You can start talking to the audience. But when improv goes bad, it is unwatchable.
Brutal to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do the same thing like in improv when it's going bad. You can't just acknowledge it.
I don't think
and-
so.
No, I think it makes it more awkward.
Yeah, because I mean, the level of commitment is so high
Yeah.
where
you
you need to make each
really-
bit work.
I can't remember what group it was, but it was before the pub at Baxter was there. It was just the tasting room. I don't know what the name of the group was, but some of the same people that
It was
did the murder mystery.
Dan Marroy's group.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And Dan Marroy was there, and they were doing an improv, and his daughter was part of the group, and then there was probably 5 other people or whatever. I remember they were just talking, like they would throw out a word, and then the comedians had to stand up and say the first thing that came to their mind.
Yeah.
Or they were having the audience throw out a word, and they would
So
have
it's
to.
kind of like that crowdsource that I
Right.
was talking about.
So I don't even remember what word was thrown out, but Dan Marroy, he stood, like took a step forward to be the next one to say what the first thing that came to his mind, and he said absolutely nothing. He was just silent, and everybody just started busting out because it was kind of like almost a sexual innuendo word and he was like, "My daughter's here." He's like, "I can't," and but you could tell he was just so uncomfortable, and so it worked, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I remember that. And
He is very talented.
He for sure.
and the whole troupe over there, his group, but also Bob LeBlanc's Balderdash Academy. If you like
Fantastic.
improv,
Yeah.
Carla Rose Dubois. Oh my God, she is so incredibly good, so good. But I wanted to say, Mark, I think you're very good at improv. We sat at a baseball game one time and made up an entire story about a seagull for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You're very good at improv.
That's fun. Just hanging at a baseball game and doing a stupid story about a seagull. But when you're with 4 other people and there are rules to follow for this game, I have a hard time with that.
The rules
Mark
part.
doesn't like rules.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Well,
it's
it
just
does
I'm not.
it's a boundary. It
Yeah.
puts limits on things.
Yeah.
And
Like you're not allowed to say this. You can't use this word, and it's too much. Too much for me.
He just didn't like it.
I didn't like
But
it.
he likes a story about seagulls.
Locally owned and locally focused, Lydia Media celebrates the heart of the greater Lewiston-Auburn area through 2 magazines, Uncle Andy's Digest and LA Metro Magazine, and the new Lydia's Lunch Bunch podcast. Each production shines a positive light on local businesses, nonprofits, events, and individuals making a difference in our community. Keep your advertising dollars local and position your business in front of your target audience with Lydia Media. Learn more at LlydiaMediaLLC.com. It should be our goal this year to get Pam on stage
Oh boy.
at a GFCC open mic.
She could do the thing where she picks 3 scary things to do this year.
Oh, you're choosing my New Year's resolution for me.
Hope you don't mind. We didn't think you had time.
We,
Got plenty of time.
you're so busy. We thought we'd just do it for you.
But maybe some Wednesday, Sarah and I can go with you and we can just hang out, look at, check it out. Maybe we'll get up, maybe we
I've
won't.
been to a open mic there before.
Yeah.
I like that it's very abbreviated.
Yes.
It's the
very
5
quick.
minutes. It's funny to me, a lot of newer comics, people who maybe haven't taken a class or are just like interested in it, they will write a few jokes. And the thing about open mic is it's 5 minutes. You get 5 minutes.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
Especially if it's not going well.
I cannot stress to new comics enough, you do not have to fill that 5 minutes. If you have 3 minutes of jokes, please don't stand on the stage for 2 minutes saying, "Am I done yet? Am I done yet? Am I done?" Just do your 3 minutes and be done. It's okay. Nobody's going to judge you. So if you only have 2 minutes of jokes, just say, "I have 2 minutes of jokes." That's all I'm going to do.
We are going to judge them.
We shouldn't judge them.
Yeah, but you shouldn't. That was a joke.
Oh, that was a joke.
It's not, though. You can say all day long that people don't judge, but people do.
People do judge, but you keep it to yourself. Be nice.
That's Sarah's secret. Sarah judges everyone, but has learned not to verbalize it.
Lock it up, throw it away.
Some of us aren't so lucky. We don't have that skill.
I just like to think about how I would feel if somebody judged me and then said it out loud, and I don't like that feeling.
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's
I mean, there are times when sometimes like some words come out and then I'm like, I kind of retract
Like,
and backpedal.
Yeah.
I'm
Wish I could
like,
suck it back
you
in.
know, I don't know everything about
Yes.
either a
Right.
situation or
Yep,
what
yep,
happened or whatever, you know.
You got to give
so-
everybody some grace.
Pam's like, I'm sorry, Reverend. I shouldn't have said that.
I didn't mean to say your homily was the worst I've ever heard.
Anywho, so would you be into that? Maybe some Wednesday
Don't
night.
pressure her.
How am I pressuring
We have
her?
11 months,
I'm
right?
asking a question.
11 months. Yes, no time limit.
And when we go,
Yes, but we have to have some type of like progression.
Okay.
Sure.
We can't just be like, okay, by the end of the year, but not do any type of progression towards that. So
What
I'd be
Right.
open to it if there's.
What if once a week at Tasting Tales, you brought us a joke idea?
That's once a week.
oh, that's pretty good. Well, maybe just once.
Once a month, you bring us a joke idea.
Got to put it on the calendar.
Yeah.
Okay, and
And,
then-
by December, you'll have a solid 5 minutes.
Yeah. She's like, oh my God, I can't. I don't want to.
Pam's like, great. Something else to add to my to-do list.
She's like, I went from mentioning I might be interested in an improv class to doing 5 minutes of stand-up comedy by the end of the year.
Some
hate
of
you
my
guys.
best jokes, though, are some things that I don't want people to know I think.
Yeah, well,
Those are the best ones.
yeah.
I have so many jokes about my ex-husband that are not nice, and I say them on stage.
So
I don't want people to know I feel that way,
you
but I
just-
do it anyway.
You take those things and you sugarcoat them a little bit and use other people, use other entities.
Right. Use other names.
Yeah.
Make up individuals. Yeah.
It can happen.
It'll be good.
It should happen.
She's so funny. We have to
I
get her
know.
to do it.
You can't deprive the world of your comedic brilliance.
Imagine 5 minutes of the sniper.
Brilliance. All right, Mark.
I know.
That's a bit much.
5 minutes of the sniper.
5 minutes of the
I'm
sniper.
just gonna go up on stage and be really quiet and just be like, really? That hat?
Yes. Yeah.
That would be improv, right?
Yeah. I'm very curious to see if we can convince you to have a comedy journey. I feel like
Because I don't have enough anxiety and stress in my life. You just
just layering it on.
Once you get that big laugh, you're not going
it
to feel
feels
any
so
anxiety or
good.
stress.
Yeah, it feels so good.
And we also talked about having an Uncle Andy's Digest comedy
Yes.
night
Oh, that's
somewhere.
fun.
So that would be kind of cool
yes,
too.
I would, and
Yeah.
I want that to be an annual thing.
Yeah,
You would be a great hostess.
absolutely.
Hostess, like a little cupcake.
Yeah, so that's in the works. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm in.
You gonna
boy.
host it?
Little did I know that not having a guest today would present you to convince me to try and do an open
That's
mic.
what happens, Pam. Damn it. In 2015, I was at a show in Biddeford. I was talking to a couple in the front row. They were in love.
Oh yes, you got them engaged.
They were not in. Thanks for stepping on my story.
She's like, I know this
We've
story.
heard this before, Mark.
You might have heard it. It's never been said on the podcast.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
No, it hasn't.
Do it again.
I don't want to.
I ruined it. Be careful what you wish for.
I didn't wish for you to ruin it. That's our show, folks. We want to thank our sponsors for today, Ruper's Beverage and Redemption and United Piping. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam. She might roast you at pam@lydiamediallc.com. Tomorrow we have Shanna Cox coming in
All right.
from the LA Metro Chamber.
Maybe we can convince her to do stand-up comedy.
I think she would in a heartbeat.
Yay.
Yeah, she'd do it.